Hello. It's Friday, you guys. It is Friday. You know what? It's Friday all day long. It's Drama-Free Friday. Can you hear my studio sponsor? He's here. Let me know when you guys get here. Yes. Hello. Hello. Sorry, I'm trying to put a message in the chat. Hello, Linda. Oh, yes. Yes, yes. Here we are. Us too. Because it's Friday. And he knows it's Friday. He knows it's Friday. Whoa. Hi, Linda. Hello, Amber. Good to see you. Amber, are you home or are you on lunch break? Hi, Sheila. Heavenbound Homestead. I'm sorry I forgot your name. I think I've seen you here before. Welcome. Oi, I tell you what. Clearly it looks like I've been in the wind. I haven't. I just got wild looking hair the other day. Hi, Esther. It's good to see you all. Yes, Chance is here today. I was setting up just a little bit ago, and what does he do but starts talking to me. And talking and talking and talking and talking. Because that's what he does. Hi, Tori. Hi, Becky. No, it's next week. I'm not streaming next week. Next Friday. Hi, Linda. Hi, Tim. If you're watching. So good to have you guys here today. It's Friday. I feel so much better today than I did last Friday. Yes, you guys are... Hi, Franna. Good to see you. You're in Germany, I think, right? Or maybe? Oh, hi from Tim. Good. I finally remembered. Anyway, yeah. Crazy cat. Sorry about the random cat butt sightings. I do. I feel... Oh, you're in Illinois? Oh, not even close, Franna. Sorry. Thinking about somebody else. Oh, Becky, that's good. She got a brand new... There's a whole washer saga going on with... Clothes washer saga with Becky. She finally got it working. That's good. Brand new washer that didn't work. What is it with this hair? You guys just have to put up with it. Anyway. Hi, Joan. Franna, I'm sorry. I don't know why I had you in Germany. I have just the tail end of the cough that's left from the sinus issue that I was dealing with last week, along with everything else. I feel so much better this week. Oh, I feel so much better this week. I feel so much better this week in many respects. Oh. I bet, Becky. I bet. There is just nothing like buying something brand new and having it go haywire right off the bat. Although, what they always told us in the sewing machine, when I was selling sewing machines, with computerized machines, if it was going to go haywire, it's going to go haywire right away. So. The mountain of clothes. I hate that. There's nothing I hate worse. Well, there probably are things, come to think of it, but one of the things in my life that is really difficult for me is to get too far behind on the laundry. Fortunately, at this point in my existence, I don't have that issue very much, but this time last year, my washing machine and dryer ran non-stop. Absolutely non-stop. There were some days that I would even get up in the middle of the night to change laundry over. That's how crazy that was. Yeah. Wow, Esther, congratulations. She got an oven. She's been waiting for 3 months. Good for you. Hey, Dar. So, it's Drama Free Friday. My name is Barb Owen of HowToGetCreative.com. I'm glad that you're here. We call this Drama Free Friday because we intend for it to be drama free. That all hinges on whether Barb is the kind of week Barb's had. And she tries real hard. She, meaning me, I try really hard to make it completely drama free. There are just sometimes it's like I either go on and I deal with my own drama, which means you guys deal with the drama that's been happening in my life, or I don't go on and then you guys wonder what happened to me and if I'm still alive. Because as we know, at my ripe old age, I could die at any moment. So say some people. Anyway, I'm just teasing. Hi, Kathy. Thank you. It's good to be here. Oh, Joan. Oh, Joan, you shouldn't have put that in the chat. You shouldn't have put that in the chat. Everybody is going to be coming after your husband now, who does the laundry and the ironing. Hello, Gail. Oh, really? Becky's thinking about getting a wood stove. Ah, nice. It's probably a good idea. This is Chance, in case you're new here or you're new watching. This is Chance. He is the sponsor of this YouTube show and channel. And he regularly, on Friday, likes to make an appearance, and he often likes to show all parts of his body to the world. So, anyway. Hello, Patricia. Good to see you. Who irons anymore? Well, some of us have to iron. Mostly I use my iron for artistic purposes. In fact, I have 2 irons. One that's for really scammy art purposes, and the other one is not so scammy. And I can still iron clothes with it occasionally. Isn't he the sweetest? Look at that face. Oh my gosh, what would I do without this cat? He gives me so many hugs and loves. Oh, if you guys don't follow, how many of you here, put in the chat, how many of you here follow the Golden Ratio? They're the couple with all the golden retriever dogs that they rescue. Hello, Noeet. Good to see you. Noeet had some beautiful art journal pages she posted on Instagram this week. I'm just saying, if you don't follow her on Instagram, get over there, make an account and follow her, because she is prolific. There are several artists that I could name who are really prolific artists. Noeet is one of them. What she does art journaling wise is incredible. So, hello, Sandy. He is such a cute boy. Nope. Oh, welcome home, Sandy. Well, if you don't follow them, they're called the Golden Ratio 4. And they are, you're welcome, Noeet. They are they're really fun to follow. And I don't care whether you follow them. It totally is up to you. They're much younger than I am. They rescue golden retrievers, and I have no association with them whatsoever, other than I enjoy listening to them. They have a podcast. They also post a daily video about the adventures of these dogs, most of whom are rescued, and most of them have complex medical issues. There's 2 dogs in their current pack that they got as puppies. Vink is one, and Hops is the other one. you don't know of them, they are so much fun. Hi, Purple Nana. Yeah, we haven't changed times yet. We do that this weekend, I believe. So next week I won't be streaming on Friday, and so it'll give you 2 weeks to figure out when I'll be back, because I'll be back at 2 Eastern in 2 weeks. Anyway, the Golden Ratio has these 2 dogs that they got as puppies. The rest of them have all come through as either fosters that they've adopted, or they have one current foster dog that they're dealing with. Anyway, they had a bunch of issues in their pack, because they brought a dog in that had pretty intense medical issues, and they brought him in, and there were 2 other dogs in the pack that had also been brought in as in various states of medical issues, which they've worked through. And the new dog, for whatever reason, really upset the apple cart. And he's old and he's blind, but for whatever reason, these other 2 dogs just got real upset about it, and it just caused things to go into just absolute chaos. Absolute chaos. So they do a podcast, which you can follow on YouTube. They post it on YouTube. It's audio only. And they do it once a week. And as a rule, it goes up Thursday night or sometime on Thursday, usually. Anyway, I would happen to see it last night, so I was listening to it while I was sewing. You guys, I'm telling you, since most of you don't follow it, I'm going to tell you this story. Hi, Barbara. The dog that they have, and they're all different medical issues. And this couple is just absolutely dedicated. They're absolutely dedicated to these dogs. Hang on just a minute. I've got to answer a text message. I can't talk and type at the same time. Sorry. If I could type and talk, it would be great. Anyway, hello, Miss Lady Jan. I don't know how to say your name, but welcome from Poland. Could somebody, how am I going to say that? Grace? How about if I call you Grace? Would that be okay? Would that be okay? Hi, Kellyanne. Welcome from Poland. I'm so glad you're here. I don't think I've ever seen your name before. In fact, I'm sure I haven't. But welcome. He is Kathy. He is attached to me at the hip, the arm, the lap. He is totally attached to me. He used to get so much of his affection from Charlie, and I didn't realize how much Charlie took care of. But anyway, so in this pack of dogs, the balance got upset because they brought in this new dog that needed a lot of help. The balance got upset, which caused 2 of the other dogs to just go crazy, and it just caused all kinds of problems. And so they have been working so hard to figure out the solution that will be the best life for the dogs involved, and should they rehome some of them, and what should they do? So it's a whole thing, right? It's a whole thing. Well, anyway, they had 7 dogs. 7 golden retrievers, and most of them have issues. One of the dogs had to have a leg amputated. This was a year ago. One of her front legs had to be amputated, so she's special needs. One of the other dogs has lymphoma. Another one is blind. The one with lymphoma, it has very limited vision. Another one of the dogs is old, very old, and sweet, sweet dog, but old guy and has to be on, they all have to be on medication of some kind. Anyway, it's all beside the point. Just kind of give you the flavor. And then there's Vink. And Vink is one that they raised from a puppy. And absolutely nothing in Vink's life is upsetting. We should all live like Vink. We should all live like Vink because Vink just floats. And she has her own issues from time to time, but she just floats, with the world. And she's happy all the time. She dances for her breakfast. She dances for her dinner. She will play. You cannot believe that she's the age she is because she's just so much fun. Anyway, they have 7 dogs. So if you have 7 golden retrievers or 7 of anything, 7 cats, 7 whatever, you're going to spend a lot of time counting them to make sure everybody's there. So this past week, they had something had gone upside down in the balance of the dogs, and they were having to shuffle dogs to make sure that a couple of these dogs were not out at the same time, and so they're always trying to do their best to meet the needs of the dogs. Hello, Judy. Name was created by the Polish guy. Grazina. How interesting. Thanks, Judy. I'm still not quite sure what name to use. I think I'm going to use Grace. Would that be okay? Hi, Sherry. You're not late. You're right on time. So anyway, back to the golden ratios. I know that I'm stringing this out, which I don't mean to, but what the heck? It's Drama Free Friday, and this will make you laugh. So they got all the dogs, and they live on the ocean. And so they're always taking the dogs. The dogs get to swim in the ocean. They have a dock. They have a ramp off the dock so that the dogs that are old can still get in the water. The dogs all love the ocean. They live in a kind of a secluded, I don't know what it's called, but, a secluded part of the ocean. So they have a seawall and they have, I don't know. Anyway, it's a whole thing. And it's a safe area for the dogs to swim, and so they're in the water, they get to exercise, and for the various medical issues that they have, it's great, because they're in the water. Did I miss Sherry? Oh no, the other Sherry. Anyway, sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the chat and tell a story. And so they were in the house. Everybody was in the house. They'd gotten everybody dried off and from being in the ocean, and they were doing their thing, and the phone rang, and it was a neighbor. And this neighbor said, the wife's name is Jen, and it's not unusual for him to call, apparently. And he said, I know you can't see him, Chance is trying to get in the catnip because he knows it's the time of day he usually gets it on Friday. I'll be right back. Hi. Are you ready for some? Okay, come on. Come on. Come on. There you go. The cat is a creature of habit. He is a creature of habit. He never asks. The catnip is right there all the time. He never tries to get into it except on Friday at this time. Isn't that funny? Anyway. Hello, Elvis. Elvis is in the house. Welcome, Elvis. So anyway, the phone rings. It's a neighbor who calls periodically, and he says, Miss Jen? This is whoever. And he said, I just wondered if you knew that Vink was over here. And this was like the neighboring property on this, where they live. And she said, what? They hadn't even missed her. And she said, how long has she been there? And he says, oh, she's been here about, I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 hours or something. She had wandered. Everybody else was busy being attended to. And so Vink just went around the fence and went to their place. And they apparently have a swimming pool and so she went over to see what they were doing. And she just jumps in and goes swimming with them. And she's just having a good old time playing with them. She'd been swimming several times. No one had missed her. Of course, they felt terrible about that they hadn't missed her. But Vink had a wonderful time. Wonderful. She'd been doing everything that she wanted to do, and she got to do exactly what she wanted to. And so then they were grilling steaks, and so they fed her a steak. And I don't know what all. And at one point, they're trying to see if she'll go home, and they're saying, come on, Vink, let's go home. And she went over and curled up and laid down on the feet of one of the people that was there. Is that funny? Is that funny? She was getting a break from all those other dogs and having a wonderful time. And somebody ended up bringing her home, or they went and got her. I don't know which. Anyway, she ends up back home with a doggy bag of steak bone and some steak bits. It's funny. Funny. If you don't listen to him, exactly, Barbara. Oh, she will go to their house. Yeah, she will. She was there for quite a while. The funny part was nobody missed her. Anyway, listen to. If you don't listen to any other podcast of theirs on YouTube, unless you have the podcast app like Apple Podcasts, if you don't listen to another podcast, that one is worth listening to, just to hear them tell the story of the missing Vink that they didn't even know was missing. So funny. So yeah, last couple of weeks for me have been, I know it's so funny. Last couple of weeks for me have been super busy and filled up with a variety of activities and things going on. Hey, Tracy. Wow, cornea transplant. Good for you, Tracy. I hope all goes well for you. I know, Dog's Day, Dar, really? So funny, so funny. Big hugs and prayers to you, Tracy. It's good to see you in the chat. Wow, good for you. I hope it does exactly what it should do. Hello, Journal Connection. I forgot your name again already. Hey, Tam. Nice to see you. Journal Connection. I know you, but it's gone. Flipped out of my head. Anyway. Last couple of weeks been busy. Last week was really challenging for me emotionally as well as physically because I was dealing with a sinus thing. Joyce, thank you. I'm a lot better. And so I thought, I still have the quilt here, the wall hangings. I thought I'll show it to you. It's not quite finished, but it's mostly finished. I'll give you a quick look-see. I got the binding on it, so I'll let you see. It's hard to show it. I've been filming the process for How to Get Creative so that they can see it in detail. So it's a little harder to show here, but I will give you kind of an overview here. You guys have helped me with this, make decisions about it. So I thought you might want to see it. It turned out to be the size that I wanted it to be, which is great. It is totally bound. All of the stitching is completed. And so it turned out to be the size that I was shooting for, so that's nice. That's always nice. And has lots and lots and lots of stitching on it. I'll give you one quick close-up of the stitching. So you can see some of the detail stitching on it. So there's that. And so there's a lot of stitching in the detail work to create the look of feathers and so forth and so on. It's a phoenix, in case you're new and hadn't seen it before. Oh, that's great. So anyway, there is the binding. I was going to do the binding in a different way, and I just decided I was not going to do what the first original plan was, and so this ended up working out fine. The fabric is not the way it was when it came off the bolt. I bought it and then brought it home, and then I altered the fabric so that it would go with the quilt the way that I wanted it to, and I really like it. I like the movement of the binding. I think it has a lot of carryover from the stitching and so forth. So anyway, I'm happy about it. I still have a couple of things, several things to do actually, but I'm done horsing it under the needle of my machine, and it was a workout. Let me tell you, no bigger than this is. It was such a workout. There are people who will quilt entire queen and king size quilts on their domestic sewing machines. And I tell you, my hat is off to them because I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. Thank you guys. I'm glad you enjoyed seeing it. It has been one of those the whole thing has been something that I have just let it show up, you know, from the beginning. And I've kept all of my notes in here, so I have the whole process documented, which has been, I didn't used to do that kind of thing. I didn't used to document everything, and I'm a lot better about doing it now. For whatever reason, you know, in case I want to refer back to it. Anyway, it's on its way to being done, which is really good because it's got to be done soon. All right. So again, yeah, there are scraps. I bought plenty of fabric to make sure I had enough. Next week on Friday, I will not be streaming. I will be back the week after that. Also, the Friday after Thanksgiving, I will probably not be streaming. So I don't know what day that is. Somebody can tell me. It's around the 25th or 26th, I think. Anyway, somebody can figure that out. Tomorrow is the VIP show and share. If you're a VIP member of How to Get Creative, check your email. You will have that information in your email. And that's that. Okay. I'm sorry, still having a little respiratory stuff. And it's not too bad. It's just about over with, which is good. One of the things I like to do, if I can, I didn't get to do it last year for obvious reasons, but one of the things I like to do is I like to create a piece of artwork that I can then use for Christmas cards. And because I take a photograph and then send it off and have them printed, it's always a bit of a race to get them done. No pun intended. I apologize for the throat clearing that you're going to hear today, but it's almost over. So I thought what I would do is I would kind of show you the process I go through. And so I normally do square cards, which of course cost more. I'm going to have to go invest in square cards because I think I've about used up everything that I had. They cost more to mail, and it's like, why? I guess the machines are not geared for square cards. But when I do a mandala, they fit the best on a square card. Cough up the hairball. I'm telling you, Noe, really. Hey, Dorothy. You couldn't find me? Where was I? Was I lost, Dorothy? Hi, Kathy. Dorothy, you missed seeing the quilt, but that's okay. I'll show it again tomorrow in the VIP group. Anyway, so this is this is the process that I'm working on right now. So I've laid out part of it. You've had that issue? Oh, thank you, Kathy. Okay, sorry, I was just reading the chat. So this is kind of the what I'm working on at this point. What I've done is, this is a piece of watercolor paper. There's nothing fancy about it. It's just plain old cheap watercolor paper from Michael's. I happen to like their in-house brand. I get it in a big towel. You can get it in various sizes, or you used to be able to. I don't know what you can get right now because I haven't bought supplies in a while. Been using what I have. And so this was their in-house brand, which has the surface is more like a hot press surface, and I like it for doing these kinds of things. A tablespoon of honey mixed with 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper, and swallow it. A tablespoon? I don't know if I can get a tablespoon of honey down my throat. That's a lot of honey. But it's probably good. It's probably good. So anyway, this is where I have taken this piece of watercolor paper. It's fairly smooth on this side, which is probably both sides of this. It's called cold press, but it's really remarkably smooth, and I like it a lot. And so what I have is I've laid out what I did for the background is acrylic paint, and it's just various colors of green and an antique gold, and some of it is finger painted on, and some of it was painted with a brush, and some of it was just dropped on the wet background. I did accidentally get the paper a little too wet when I was, I abraded the paper a little bit with my fingers, so there's a couple of spots where I've pilled the paper over here, but is what it is. And then I just let it dry. So it dried for several hours, and then I laid out this mandala, which happens to be a 16-section mandala, and which is not my normal layout, and but it's turning out to be okay. I don't even know why I laid out this number of sections, but that's what I did. So anyway, so then I made myself a little cheat sheet of different designs, and so that's kind of what I'm working with, and just seeing how it unfolds. And this is one that I did a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. This was one that I did. I like to do them nice and big to start with, and then this particular one I cut it out. So cut out the circle, and then I mounted it on a piece of cardstock, dark cardstock. And that's typically what I like to do. So you can see some of the designs in there, and some of them I will repeat, some of them not. I like the jingle bells. I may use those again. Anyway, I thought I would just kind of lay this out and let you guys just kind of watch and see the process. So I'm going to just come in nice and close. And the other thing I did this morning, actually, after I had everything laid out, I thought, I think I'm going to splat it with some white paint. So I did. So I splatted it. And but I have not done that before, and I thought, we'll see what happens, right? So Judy, do you swallow the entire tablespoon of honey in one shot? That is my question. I can't quite imagine a whole tablespoon of honey, but it might work fine. Okay, so what I started with in the middle is I started with a poinsettia, or one of my friends insists that it's poinsettia, but that's not how it's spelled. But they absolutely swear that it's poinsettia. It's like, I don't think so. My dad would not agree with that. But anyway, so I laid out the Christmas tree motif, and that's where I am here. So we're going to just kind of there's going to be a lot of twisting and turning because that's how it is with a mandala. I hope you guys are having a great week. I'm certainly in better shape than I was this time last week. Thank God, really. And I do mean that in all sincerity. Thank God. It is a better week. One of the things I had a great deal of anticipation about was I was going to see on Saturday, I was going to see a family member that I had not seen in a very long time, about 16 years to be exact. And a considerable amount of anxiety surrounding that. Ended up to be okay. But still, you know how it is when you have history with people. They know how to push your buttons, don't they? Sometimes they don't even know that they're pushing your buttons, but they still know how to do it. Anyway, I got through that experience, but that was part of what was going on. The dealing with emotions, and emotions are tricky business, don't you think? And history, whether it's with family or friends, can really cause you some reactions, huh? Anybody have any issues like that they care to share? So I know I'm not alone in this. So I know I'm not alone in the crazy zone. I use myself as an example because I can poke fun at me. I don't dare poke fun at other people. People tend to kind of take offense to you poking fun at them. I don't blame them. I make it look easy. Oh, that's good, Sherry. That's good. I just made a triangular shape. And then I find it easiest most of the time to turn things upside down, especially when I'm trying to kind of mirror a shape on the other side. I find it easiest to turn it upside down because that way I have a chance of looking at it, and because I do most of this by eye anyway. And because it is because it is hand drawn, you can do this kind of stuff with apps in your iPad and your phone and stuff, where you can draw one line or one shape and it will populate around the entire piece. But this is a lot more fun. Quite honestly, for me, it's a lot more fun to just do it this way. So in here, I have some peppermint candy type things. So I'm going to go ahead and plop those in. Like I was saying, when you have history with people, whether it's friends or family or, relationships can get complicated, can't they? And for a long time, here's the truth, people. For a long time, I ran from all of these people and these relationships because there was so much hurt involved. I won't even go into that because it's irrelevant. It was a long time ago. But I ran like mad from those kinds of relationships. Anything that even if I sort of thought it was going to hurt, it's like when you get burned real seriously on a stove. It doesn't even have to be real serious, but if you get burned on a stove and you know how badly that hurts, then the next time you get close to the stove and it's on, you are reactionary to the stove, right? Because that's what you do. Well, that's kind of what happened to me emotionally. I got this really bad burn emotionally. And so then it was like constant, if it even seems like a burn. Yeah, I still deal with that, because my inclination is to cut and run. If something feels like it's going to be uncomfortable, really uncomfortable, if it feels like there is an attack that doesn't have to be real, can just be the perception, can just be the imagination going crazy. But if I kind of sense that, kind of feel like that, my inclination is cut and run. At my age. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a lot older than you are, ARH, so I understand. So interesting, isn't it? Hey, CB. Mr. Google agrees with Barb's pronunciation of poinsettia. Good, that's right. Well, Mr. Google has got it right. The funny part about this family thing is that I wasn't driving. It's a good thing. It's a good thing because by the time I was almost there, I was so filled with anxiety. I know you can't imagine that about me, but I was so filled with anxiety that if I had been driving, I would have driven right on by. Am I glad I went? I am. I'm really glad I went because it made me buck up. My mom used to tell me that all the time. She'd say, it's time you just have to buck up. And I'm like, oh, if you say that to me one more time. It's true, Tracy. It is true. It felt really victorious that I did it, though. It's good. It's good when you do something really hard. It's good when you do something that's really hard and you survive it. Okay, so I have these little peppermint candy things in here, and so I'm gonna just. This is all this is just kind of fleshing out the design. And so that's all I'm doing here is just kind of getting a feel for what's going to be. It's all in pencil, so I can change anything I want to change. I tend to turn my work and draw toward myself is what my tendency is. That doesn't always hold true to form, but I like coming over a colored background because, and I like to have variety in the background. You can see there's some places where there's more gold, some places where there's dark green like this, some places there's more yellow green. And I like that because I like to be able to have the variety when I come back over with the detail color. It's just, it just makes it more interesting, I think. So our time is changing again. I thought we were done with time changes, but clearly I was mistaken. I thought they were doing away with the time changing. I'm really tired of the time changes. I wish they would just leave it alone, but you know, anyway. Okay, so we have the peppermint candy section done. I may do more in here. I don't know. Some of this will shape up as the inking stage occurs. Okay, so we have the Christmas trees. I'm going to take out the extra lines in the Christmas trees here a little bit. Sometimes you just got to get rid of extra lines because sometimes things just get too confusing, you know? Sometimes they get too confusing. I will take out all the extra stuff once I get the inking stage done. Okay, so next up are the Christmas, let's see, next up I have the garland. So I'm going to do that next. So here's the garland, which is just starting out like this. I laid this out with a ruler and a compass and a protractor, a circle protractor, which is my favorite tool. If you're not familiar with the mandala courses, there's a mandala course online that I did called Mandala Madness. And you learn all different kinds of maps for laying out the mandalas in different sections, different numbers of sections. I still have the Beyond Mandala Madness course in process, which I don't even talk about anymore because I got so behind with that, with everything last year. But you know what? It's going to get done. When? I don't know exactly when, but it's going to get done here. Okay, so I'm laying out some garland in between the trees, and then I'm just going to put some, whatever these are, Christmas bulbs, could be different things. So I do typically lay the whole thing out in pencil, whatever mandala it is that I'm working on. This is one of my favorite art forms, is the circular art form of the mandala. Mandalas are found in every culture and religion, which I totally enjoy. And I love circles. Many of us who do art journaling are for whatever reason, intrigued with circles, and the mandala certainly fits into that category. Okay, I'm going to check the chat here for a second. Hi, Mary. Yeah, you missed Chance. He was up here to greet everyone, and then he went over and helped himself to the catnip, so he was clearly ready to go in the other room and take a nap. Yeah, the colored background really does help. It really does. It does, Nana. She says the time changes mess with her body. It does. For me, it does. And it doesn't matter which direction I go with the time change. It will get me every time. I don't know what that is. You think this is the last year for the time change? Man, I hope so. Gosh, I hope so. Man, I hope it is. It's not official. It's not official yet. Oh, I thought it would. Oh, I thought it had cleared both houses. Well, doggone. Good for you, Sherry. I hope you do. I hope you enjoy it. I'm just reading the chat here. Yes, Mary, that's right. When I draw toward myself, I can see what is going on. I don't always do that. Most of the time I do. I would say 95%. He didn't drool too much today. No, there wasn't too much cat drool going on. Thanks, Barbara. That's kind. Hi, Kathy Berg. Good to see you. Yeah, exactly, Tracy. Nice to see you, Kathy Berg. Kathy Berg and Colleen have a YouTube channel. Kathy Arbor has a YouTube channel. I'm sure there are many other people here as well. Check out each other's channels. Be sure and do that. Yeah. Because you can't ever learn too much. It's like having too many people love you. Can't have too many to love you in your life. Yeah. You have a female half Siamese that drills. I'm telling you, they just do. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw Christmas presents in between the trees. So that's what I'm going to do here. What happens is I get busy watching the chat, or I get busy watching what I'm doing and forget to see what you guys are seeing. I do a sketchy outline, and I try very much to not press too hard. And if I'm zoomed in this tightly so you guys can see, normally I don't have to lay down too much graphite because you can see pretty well. So as I say, in all of the different mandala things that I do, you make one decision and then you repeat it around the circle. It's just one decision at a time. That's all. So once I have decided what that present's going to be, and they're all going to be a little bit unique, that's just the nature of something that's hand-drawn. You know, like I started to say, and I'm not sure I finished the thought a minute ago, if you have an app on your iPad or your phone, you can, in some apps, you can make one mark and it will populate all the way around the circle. But for me, that doesn't accomplish what I need to accomplish, which is the repetitive motion. The mandalas are very calming to me, as well as they're just, I like the art form, you know? I just like the art form. And there's nothing wrong with digital art. Don't get me wrong. I have no problem with people doing digital art. I mean, why would I have a problem with it? That would be silly. And but I find it just fascinating that how much I get from the repetitive motion of drawing each shape around the circle. So yeah. Oh no. What in the world, Becky? Okay, Esther, thanks for joining us. Oh, Becky, honestly, that is just, I think you got a lemon. I think you got a lemon. And I anticipate having variation in the shapes going around. In fact, I like the variation in the shapes. I can always refine those shapes as I come back with the ink. Now, when I come back with the ink step, I typically don't do the sketchy thing that I'm doing with the pencil. With the ink lines, I try to draw one continuous line. These are holly leaves of some rendition. I love to do holly leaves. That was one of the things that I learned to paint back in my oil painting days. We did holly leaves, and boy, you could get the most beautiful waxy look with oil paints in creating leaves, various kinds of leaves. Speaking of leaves, my goodness, the leaves are coming down here. Whoo, boy. I live in a neighborhood, and you know, it's not like I live in the country where you can just sort of mulch them up and let them do their own thing. Man, I live in a neighborhood and you got to deal with the leaves. I'm like, oh. That's not the cheapest thing in the world either. You know, getting people to deal with your leaves. I only have 2 really big trees, but boy, oh boy, do they put down the leaves. Yes, yes, sirree, they do. That is one of those things Clausman and I used to do together, or the leaves, most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time we would handle the leaves are together. Oh, man, that was my least favorite job. He didn't like it either. I don't blame him. Awful job. So I'm going to try to have a good attitude this year. Wish me luck, you guys. Wish me luck. Yeah, wish me luck. I'm going to need luck to have a good attitude dealing with leaves. My big tree in the back is an oak tree, and it doesn't send down all of its leaves till the spring. So, yeah. It's still, it gets rid of probably a third of them in the fall. I don't know why it decides to hang on to the rest of them, but it does. Okay, so we have holly leaves done. So now we're going to come over here to this section, which is a section of light bulbs. So light bulbs and then ornaments in between. You got a leaf blower? I had a leaf blower. I got rid of it. Yeah, we're supposed to get wind tonight too. So here's the thing. Maybe the high winds will blow them all down the street. If it starts raining, that will change the course of everything. But if it'll just, because everything's real dry right now. And so, in theory, if the wind comes in and starts whipping, because we've really had some wind today. So it's just taking all the leaves. The remaining leaves are coming off the tree, the ones that will come down. And so if it stays nice and dry, maybe they'll just blow on down the street. Because the street I live on it kind of creates its own alleyway, and it will blow. That's kind of mean for me, right? It's kind of mean, but it would solve a problem. He went by the name Clausman, Mary, because he was a wood carver, and he primarily carved Santa Clauses. That wasn't all that he carved. He carved some other really nice pieces, birds, and like he carved an eagle in a quarter scale and quail in a quarter scale. He's carved a number of songbirds and other things also, and duck decoys and things like that. But primarily he was known for carving Santa Clauses. And so he would carve them and I would paint them. And we had collectors around that always wanted a Santa Claus every year. And so that was how he got that name, was Clausman. Yeah. You like the bulbs and the ornaments? Good. Yeah, it would be nice if I had a lawnmower that I don't have a lawnmower anymore. I used to have one, but I ended up hiring somebody to take care of my lawn, so I finally just got rid of the lawnmower. Because there are some things I'm really good at, mechanical things, not so much at all. So maintaining a lawnmower, forget it. You got to know your strengths and you got to know your limitations. Yes, indeed. Okay. So let's come to this. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So what I'm doing, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come around here and just see if because I've only laid out this section of it. In theory, this should all work. So we'll see. So what we're going to do is I'm going to lay out the light bulbs first. There's a lot of things that in theory should work really well, right? And sometimes I don't do so well with the translation of into reality. And as I said, these are hand-drawn. You don't need them to be the same, and we're going to call them hand-blown light bulbs, not manufactured. Yep, that's what we're going to call them. It's my thing. I'm going to make it up the way I want. And so we're going to call these hand-blown light bulbs. That means they don't have to be exactly the same on both sides, right? If I wanted them to be exactly the same, I could do that, but I don't. Try to give myself landmarks of where I want something to end. So I have some idea. I do like Christmas lights. Here's the funny thing. You cannot imagine how many Christmas decorations I have. And I love to make Christmas decorations. Absolutely love to make them. And when it comes to putting them up, I have not put up Christmas decorations in I don't know how long. Several years. The last time I recorded putting up a Christmas tree was the last time I put up a tree. And I did that live, and you guys were all invited to my house while you watched me put up the Christmas tree. I used to put up so many trees. You cannot believe how many trees I used to put up. A lot, like 6 or 7 fully decorated themed Christmas trees. Yeah. But last year, Clausman didn't know what Christmas was. He didn't have a clue. Didn't have a clue what Christmas was last year. You know, and the year before that, it was... He knew what Christmas was, but not... you know, he was struggling back then also. So it makes it challenging when you're dealing with, when you're dealing with stuff like that. It's like, it's just not, it's not so much fun to do that, So who knows? Maybe I'll put one up this year. I don't know. I suppose it's possible. It's not likely, but it's possible. There we go. There's a lot of light bulbs on here. Oh, that's neat, Dorothy. Some of the ornaments she puts up are ones that she had when she was little. That's neat. Hi, Linda. You remember the Christmas tree decorating? Do you really, Linda? Wow, she remembers me decorating the tree. If I'm using off-white pearls in my ornaments, should I use gold or silver as an accent? I would probably do silver. You'd come and hang out and watch me put up a tree. Yeah. Well, you gotta decide it's worth it, When you don't have little kids anymore, and my little great-granddaughter, she's only 1 this year, so she's going to be more interested in the boxes than she's going to be in the toys, probably still. And I seriously doubt that they would. I really think that when you're a young family, I think you need to have your own traditions with your own family. I think that that's really important. rather than run yourself ragged trying to go to people's houses and stuff. So I totally encourage them to do their, establish their traditions with their little family. And if anybody needs to travel, it should be me, not them. But I hate traveling over the holidays. Really, really, really hate it. So that there isn't anything that I want to do any less than travel over the holidays. Yuck. Do you guys like to travel over the holidays? It is not my thing. Becky doesn't like to. Exactly, Becky. Christmas is for kids, isn't it? Yeah, it's just not my thing to travel. I couldn't have traveled the last several years with Clausman anyway. And boy, I sure wouldn't have. Ooh, I can't even imagine how awful that would have been. I can't- Oh goodness, he would have been worse than any kid trying to travel with him. He was a good guy, but boy, when he started losing touch with reality, it was it made life quite the challenge. It's funny how the first light bulb shape is the best one in the whole thing. Mm-hmm. I'll true them up once I come back, and I'll true them up when I come back and ink them, maybe. Or we'll just run with that whole theory of hand blown light bulbs. You think? That may be the best. That may be the best thing. Okay, so it's good enough. We got light bulbs of every size and shape, I think. Okay, let's do the Christmas bulbs that are in between. I've always loved to make Christmas ornaments, though. Always. I've always loved to do that. Christmas decorations, love making them. I like giving them as gifts, too, because usually, it's a piece of small art that you can give to people. Usually they don't cost you a ton to make, and it's something you can share from your heart to other people. So I've always enjoyed doing that. I was always the room mother person when my son was little in school, and so I was the one that would figure out stuff to make. He went to a private school when he was first in school, and so I would make things for all the kids in school because it was a small private school, so I would make things for everybody. And I love doing that. That was a lot of fun for me to do, because a lot of those kids, their parents didn't do that kind of stuff, and I totally enjoyed making things like that for kids. I think it's what it's all about anyway, as far as the whole gift giving thing. I enjoyed giving gifts also. It's hard for me to receive them, but I sure enjoyed giving them. Receiving is just a real challenge for me. Much easier for me to give to other people than it is to receive things. Are any of you guys that way? Hi, Alicia. Hey, Janet. Hey, Miss Allie K. Good to see you. Yeah, when I was a kid, first back in the dark ages, we always had parties. We had Halloween and we had Christmas and we had Thanksgiving, and we had room mothers that brought treats and all that kind of stuff. That was back before everybody came up with 900 jillion allergies and things had to be wrapped and hermetically sealed and all that kind of stuff. Back when I was a room mother, we had a lot more freedom. Or when I was a kid and my mom helped do stuff like that too. It was a whole different, yeah, it was different then. But every generation says that. Back in my day, right? You hear me? Back in my day when I was a kid, so you like how this is coming together? I like the contrast of the size difference in the designs here. I do like that. This year and this one I'm doing mostly Christmas motifs, which on the last one that I did, that wasn't that way. I'll show you close up on the one I did before, the last one I did. Sometimes I don't do Christmas motifs at all on the mandalas. I just go strictly by color and let the color suggest it. So on this one, there are definitely, like this green thing here, that looks like almost like peas in a pod. It's definitely not Christmassy, right? But there are enough Christmas things in it, like the candies, the peppermint candies, the jingle bells, the kind of the garland sort of thing, the holly leaves. These are like holly berries. There's enough things that communicate Christmas to you on this, but there's a lot of other designs on here other than Christmas, where on this one it's mostly just Christmas designs. Bye, Joan. You too. I hope you have a great weekend. All right, Becky, go get him. We could, if I came up with something, couldn't we? That could be fun to do. Make an ornament together. The thing about doing this is you end up with all this graphite on your hand, so it gets pretty smeary by the time you get done doing this part of it. It takes a while to get the graphite taken care of, but it's worth it. I could never go in here and do this with ink very well. Pretty much need to come in and do it in graphite first, because then you've got a safety net and you can erase. The eraser is your friend. I don't know if I'll have a chance this week to stream for you guys. If I can, I will jump on at some point this week, because I will not be here on Friday. So I will try to stream another time this week, but no guarantees, because I have to figure out what I'm wearing to a wedding. I've been concentrating on the gift, so the apparel part has been taking a back seat, you guys. Yeah, taking a back seat. Some people would have that all sorted out and would be the first thing they'd do. Nope, me, no. What I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to get the gift together. And I waited so long to get the gift together. You know, I waited too long to do that. Oh, Janet, that's a good plan. Putting on clean underwear, that's a good plan. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and I'm going to put the stars in, this little wonky star border around. Then I'll figure out what else I'm going to do. I may go ahead and start inking and then figure out what I'm going to do, if I'm going to fill in this space or if I'm just going to add color in there, which could be, I tend to fill every conceivable little tiny space. I don't like white space. I don't know, Dar. I have no idea. I have zero idea. I'll find out later in the week. I'll find out later in the week. Okay, I need to make some markings here. Just by eye. But I'm going to do this around the circle. So I'm just dividing the space into each section into approximately thirds. Approximately. Because these sections are 22.5 degrees in theory apart. And that 22.5 is real tough to see on the protractor. So I'm sure many of these sections are not they're not even close to exactly the same distance apart. So when you do this kind of stuff, you develop the accuracy of your eye pretty much to be able to divide things up. And if it's not exact, who cares? Who cares? Like Janet Young says, if this has to go in the trash, I can make it again. That's so true. When you establish that kind of attitude, it's very freeing, isn't it? Like, I'm not committed to this for the rest of my life. Oh, now Janet, it's 22.5 degrees. It's not just a degree. It's not just 22 degrees or 20 degrees. It's 22.5. Okay. But Janet, you're so much fun to give grief to about rulers. I mean, really. I have lots of protractors and I have lots of acrylic rulers. So I don't have anything to say. I can't say anything. Yeah, those of you that were new coming in, I'll give you, hi Shu. I'll give you a quick view of the quilt. I showed this earlier, but I'll show it to you real quickly because I have the binding on it, and so it's done. So this way you can see it from afar. It is a Phoenix. Sorry, I can't. I'm almost not tall enough, but that way you can see the binding on it. A lot of stitching on it. Anyway, if you want to see it in more detail, you can scroll back to the beginning because I showed it right at the beginning. Anyway, I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I got the binding, I finished stitching the binding on just before I came on. Thank you. Yeah, I'm pleased with it. I hope they like it. You know, I just let go of the outcome. I just do the thing and then see what happens. You know, if they like it, great. If they don't, I'll always wish they did. I'll always wish they did like it. Okay, so the stars that I'm doing are the 5-pointed kind of grade school type stars. So we're going to come here and there. And they're going to be wonky because that's just what they're going to be. They're just going to be wonky. You would not believe how long it took me to recall which place was the best place to start drawing the stars. Every once in a while, your brain just takes a shit. Oh, sorry. Shouldn't have said that. Sorry. That probably was highly offensive to some of you. But that's kind of what happens sometimes. You're like, really? You can't remember how to do this thing? And then finally muscle memory kicks in and you get it back and you go, what was I struggling with on that? God. Janet can relate, right, Janet? It is going to be a Christmas card, CB, a la one of these. Yeah. Oh man, yeah. Sorry if that was offensive to you guys. I'm sorry. Sometimes what I think rolls out of my mouth and I don't have the capacity to stop it quick enough. That was one of those. That's why I try to have something planned to talk about. That way I don't go on autopilot and let my mouth get the best of me. I wonder how many subscribers I just cost myself. She's too old to talk like that. Janet talks like that all the time, though, so I'm good in good company. Right, Janet? I've been rereading my journals from last year. Boy, you want to talk about a good way to torture yourself. I write in a lot of detail. I know that you guys can't imagine that because most of you have that hang out with me have seen my journals. So I know you can't imagine that I actually have a lot of words in a lot of writing and words in my journals. Oh, that was good for some self-torture. Go back and read what was going on last year about this time. You want to know something? I'm really glad I survived because as I look back and reread some of the stuff that was going on last year and some of the things I was dealing with that just were life things. You know, you just got to deal with it. You got to do it. Like, no wonder I felt so overwhelmed and overcome and just over it. That was pretty incredible, really. Anyway, back to this. Ain't it awful when the bird learns to cuss? I was going to put a bird on this. I forgot that. Thank you for saying that, Dar. I even had it written on here. I'm going to circle it. I got to see if I can figure out where to put a bird. Maybe a bird will fit. Maybe the bird will fit in here somewhere. We'll figure it out. Yeah. Thank you for saying that because I really intended to put a bird on it. I just don't know where I'm going to put it yet. So Starbucks has their Christmas cups out. There you go. So I kept one of these. Oh, Joyce, that's very sweet of you. Thank you. Thank you. So I had this on my desk in case I need inspiration. It's here until there's the remnants of coffee in there, and Chance will have his way with that. He loves coffee. He does. He loves coffee. And he'll have his way with that. I still have all the unfinished things that we were going to do. They're still waiting in the wings to be finished. I have the soul support doll to finish. I have all of the watercolor, all these guys that we haven't finished. They're sitting here patiently waiting. So many things that we can do. I tell you what. But then I get a different idea, you know, a different inspiration, and so I just roll with it instead. I think it's called Easily Distracted. Easily distracted. Or maybe it's inspired. Maybe I'm just easily inspired. Maybe that's it. So CB thinks this will make a good Christmas card. That's good, because that's what I had in mind to do with it. But if I don't get the lead out and get it done, getting it reproduced is always a tricky proposition. I got a couple other things I need to get ordered. Who knows what that's going to be like this year, trying to order stuff. I may be handing out IOUs again this year. I did that, you know, when I was a kid, trying to knit things for everybody. The year I learned how to knit, I had to give out IOUs because I was going to make slippers and hats and stuff for everybody in my family. I was about 11. My eyes were bigger than my stomach even back then, you guys. My son hates it when I call all of you, you guys. He doesn't think that's very polite, I think. So if you guys think it's offensive, I apologize. You have to get over it. Yep. Oh, goodness. I like the little star border. I like the little wonky grade school star. Do you like the stars, the star border? I hope you do. The disadvantage to working on a mandala that's this big is that it's this big. The advantage to working on a mandala this big is that you can draw designs, and you're not trying to cram them into a little tiny space. So that, it's the blessing and the curse all in one. Oh, you guys, I'm tired. My goodness. I have been up late so many nights the last couple of weeks. So what happens is I'll catch a nap in the afternoon for like an hour, and then I can't go to sleep at night. Oh, it's a vicious circle. It's a vicious circle. And all of my tricks sometimes don't put me back to sleep. I have a whole arsenal of things that, I can go through. One of my tricks is, some of you have seen it. I'll show you here in a minute. I'm just about done with this. I'll show you one of the things I use. I usually find that repetitive things will put me to sleep. A repetitive prayer, a repetitive meditation, lots of different repetitive things that I have in my head. Of course, that's the problem, is my head turns on, then I can't turn it off. Anyway, okay, so let's look at it from at the 440th floor. There we go. Okay. What do you think? You think it's okay? Abstract of sleep deprivation. Yeah. Exactly. Amber says all the king's men couldn't make Barb go to sleep. It should have been the Mother Goose scene. Exactly. I have to learn to empty my mind. You can do it now, Dorothy. Good for you. You guys think it's okay? Okay, good. So one of the things that I do when I can't sleep is I go back to this journal in my head, and it's my book of positive words. This poor journal will never get completely finished because it is in such terrible shape. It was terrible paper. It was sketchbook paper, and it is like the worst kind of sketchbook paper. It's not good sketchbook paper. And so it's falling apart. But anyway, it's my book of positive words. And so this was all the A words. And so for a long time, I could go through all the A words. And so the whole thing is about the letter A. It's like Sesame Street. It's Barb's version of Sesame Street. This page is brought to you by the letter A. And this is brought to you by the letter B. So when I would lie in bed, I would go through these different words, the whole list in my head. And I would seldom ever get past about letter C before I would be asleep. And it doesn't seem to work so much now. But this poor book has seen better days. It's just, this is falling apart. It was terrible paper, and all the work that I put into this up to the place where I stopped, it's like just heartbreaking for me to realize that it was going to fall apart. So my other option is to completely take it apart and then make a box, put it in a box. So do it that way. So it has quotes and it has words. Listen to rainstorm videos. Oh, that's a good idea too. Hi, Janice. You bore yourself to sleep. That's good. So, this was a lot of fun to do, and I worked really hard on this for a while, and then I just let it sit. It's been sitting for I don't know how many years now. Long time. But it's, it's just kind of word art, quotes. It's fun to collect this kind of stuff. If you have a specific theme that you're working on, it's really fun to do that. Like some of these are stickers and some of them are stamps. Some are just letters that I stamped. Some are rub-ons. Different kinds of alphabets, like this is a foam alphabet back here. These were flashcards that I bought at a really fancy baby store, and then I just cut them into different shapes. And this all started with just scraped paint and stuff. So whatever paint theme colors that I ran into, as I would get to the page, then I would just run with that. Yeah. So it's fun to think of different ways to do the things with the flashcards. This is dictionary page in the back with different E words. I like the variety of the things that I cut out from magazines and quotes that I collected and vellum things and, just magazine images. I like word art, and this had nothing to do with my positive words. It just was something I did. Sometimes I would treat each one of the flashcards differently. And I like that some of them you can hardly see. Like this is a sticker, and it says friends, but you can hardly read that. It's over the word faith. And then this is where I started to lose interest. So this was, I don't know that I actually put anything in here, but I started collecting little pockets. I don't make so much stuff for this, but I collect stuff and stick it in. And so this was another one of the flashcards, which clearly got scummed up by the by gessoing a different page. I scummed it up down here. But you have to be okay with that stuff. I don't worry about that. I go, oh look, there's gesso, So this is my G page. We did some of these together on stream. And then this is the H page, which is about house and home, and so that's the beginning of that. And here's my, my stuff that I've just stuck in here, and my list of words. Anyway, so one of the things that I have done is haven't done it in quite a while because I forgot about it, quite honestly, is I will use this book because I would have those lists of positive words running all the time because I was working on this journal. And so I would have those running through my head. And usually, I could put myself back to sleep with that. Sometimes none of the techniques I got work. Sometimes none of them work. I'm glad you guys are here. I like how Dorothy wrote that She says, I have to read before I go to sleep. Often find the Kindle on the floof in the morning. We know she means floor, but she finds it on the floof. I think that's funny. Annette is here. Did I miss Annette? Yes. Hello, Annette. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. You do like the stars, Kathy? I do too. I do too. All right, so from a distance, that's what it looks like at this point. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. It's always good to look in the computer monitor and take a look at how things are. It will change many times. It will. But you can take any shape, like the star, that little grade school star, and just by doing it around, it makes a pattern. And so sometimes what I really like is I like it when the pattern, where the shape emerges into a pattern and you have to kind of look at it, give it a second look to see what shape was it that created that pattern. It's kind of fun to do. So good, Annette. Good that you're resting. If I miss a day journaling, yeah, I rarely ever miss a day journaling because that is where I park all of the crazy. I park the crazy in the journal. Yeah, don't ever read my journals, ever, unless you want a peek into the crazy. Because that's where I dump it all so I don't have to stay crazy, right? Yeah, it's a great thing to do. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so glad you were here, and it's fun. It's fun to hang out with you always. And I remember that VIP group is tomorrow. Your email should have already gone out. Let's see, what else? I will not be broadcasting on Friday next week, but if I can squeeze in something Monday or Tuesday, I will. If I can't, you're just going to have to forgive me, and I'll see you the week after that. How about that? Okay, so thanks for being here, and I will see you. Thanks, Becky. I will see you guys again soon. I just don't know exactly when. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for walking through the project with me today and also the last couple of weeks. Your input is invaluable. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you have a really good weekend and that you do something to encourage other people. When we think we have it really, challenging and rough and all that kind of stuff, there's always people that we can encourage and hopefully be a little bit of a light for them. So, that's part of our responsibility to help each other, right? All right, I will see you soon. Remember to get creative today because it's easy. I'll see you again before you know it. Bye, you guys.